Have you ever picked up a simple 1-cent coin and thought, it's just a penny? Well, think again, because some collectors believe that certain Lincoln cents from the late 80s and 90s could be hiding incredible value. Rumors even say that a few of these coins, the Lincoln cents, might be worth thousands or even close to $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But before you laugh it off, stay with me till the end of this video. We're going to uncover the truth behind these pennies, their design secrets, the story of their mint marks, and the real reason why some of them are considered hidden treasures. You might just realize that a small copper coin in your pocket could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Stay till the end because the real worth might surprise you. Let's move to our first coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers about a penny that could change someone's life. A small, ordinary-looking coin from 1998 that some say could be worth thousands, or even $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that little 1998 D. Lincoln cent sitting in your drawer might not be so ordinary after all? Some collectors claim it hides a rare mistake, a secret minting detail that could make it incredibly valuable. Others say it's all just rumor and hype. So before you spend it, or let it slip away unnoticed, watch this video till the end, because we're about to uncover the truth behind one of the most talked about pennies in America, and what really makes the 1998 D coin so mysterious and exciting. The story of this coin begins in the late 1990s, a time when technology was changing fast, but some things in American life stayed the same. Every year, billions of Lincoln pennies were struck, used, and forgotten. To most people, it was just a small copper coin, useful only for exact change at a gas station or a grocery store. But to a coin collector, every penny holds potential. Every year has its secrets. And for the 1998 D, that secret turned out to be a fascinating blend of history, error, and myth. Let's start with what we can see. On the front of this coin, the obverse, stands the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. For more than a century, this portrait has represented not just a man, but the very idea of honesty, leadership, and enduring American spirit. Brenner's initials, tiny letters VDB, appear near the shoulder cutoff, honoring his contribution. The soft curve of Lincoln's face, the solemn eyes, and the careful detailing remind us that even in the smallest objects, there's great art. Just below the year 1998, you'll find a small letter, D. That's the mint mark, showing that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The Denver facility has produced billions of U.S. coins over the decades, known for precision and power. Each mint mark tells a story, a clue about where and when a coin was born. Now, flip the coin to the reverse, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the wheat ears reverse in 1959. Created by Frank Gasparo, the Lincoln Memorial design is iconic in its simplicity. Look closely. Deep inside the memorial, you can actually see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln himself, sitting at the center. That tiny engraving, smaller than a grain of rice, is one of the most impressive details ever placed on a U.S. coin. Around the edge of the memorial are the inscriptions. United States of America, representing the nation's unity. E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. And of course, the denomination, 1 cent. But here's what many don't realize. This little coin's composition isn't what it used to be. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper. But after copper prices rose, the mint switched to a cheaper formula. 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper coating. That's the version used in 1998, a light, zinc-based core covered by a copper shell. It still looks and feels like the old penny, but it's completely different inside. So why is this coin so talked about? Why are there whispers of hidden fortune surrounding a penny billions of people once used? Well, it all comes down to something collectors call varieties and errors. See, during minting, even the slightest difference can make a coin special, a wider spacing, a doubled image, or a small die flaw. And in the world of coin collecting, the 1998 wide AM penny became legendary. Now, normally, the letters A and M in America on the back of the coin are close together, so close that they almost touch. That's what we call the close AM design. But in 1998, a few rare coins appeared with a noticeably wider gap between those two letters, the wide AM variety. The wide AM was never supposed to appear on regular business strike coins. It was meant for proof coins made for collectors. But somehow, A few slipped into circulation from the Philadelphia Mint. That tiny design difference made those coins rare and highly sought after, often selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And that's where the rumor about the 1998 D penny began. People started wondering, what if the same mistake happened at the Denver Mint? What if a 1998 D-wide AM existed? What if a few coins escaped the factory with that rare design? That idea sparked endless speculation, collectors searching through jars, online claims of rare finds, and viral videos claiming you might have $1 million penny. But let's separate fact from fiction. As of today, there has been no officially confirmed 1998 D-wide AM discovered. None graded by PCGS or NGC, and none authenticated by major numismatic organizations. If one ever did appear, it would be front-page news in the coin world, possibly worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars because it would represent a true, never-before-seen minting anomaly. Still, that mystery keeps collectors hooked. Every time a new penny is examined, there's a spark of hope. That's the beauty of numismatics. You never know what history might be hiding in your hand. Now, let's talk about value, because even ordinary 1998 D pennies can have value beyond 1 cent, especially in mint condition. Most of these coins were made for circulation, meaning they've been through years of wear, scratches, fading, and damage. But a coin that has remained untouched, bright red, full of luster, with no marks, is something different. Coins in mint state, MS, condition can be worth more than you think. For example, a 1998 D-graded MS-65 red might sell for around $10 to $20. An MS-67 red, much rarer, can bring $150 to $250. And if you ever find a perfect MS-68, the price could shoot even higher, sometimes $500 or more, depending on demand. Those values come not from rarity alone, but from perfection, because after billions of coins are made, finding one that still looks flawless is incredibly hard. Then there are the error coins. These are the real wild cards, the coins that left the mint with visible mistakes. Some of the most interesting 1998 D errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing; double dies, where images or letters appear slightly doubled; cuds and die cracks, caused by damaged dies leaving raised bumps on the coin; struck-through errors, where debris gets pressed into the coin's surface during minting. Each of these errors tells a small story, a human or mechanical slip in a massive industrial process. And depending on how dramatic the error looks, collectors may pay anywhere from $20 to several $100s, or even more for truly unique examples. What's amazing is that coins like these can still show up in pocket change today. After all, pennies stay in circulation for decades. So that 1998 D penny you find in a parking lot or piggy bank might have already lived through 25 years of history, and it might still hold secrets. But let's not forget something important, the sentimental side of collecting. For many, a coin like the 1998 D Lincoln cent isn't just about profit. It's a piece of everyday American life. It reminds us of school lunches, store counters, or moments when we reached into our pocket and didn't think twice. That's the magic of coins, they're witnesses to time. Even if your 1998 D penny isn't worth a fortune, it can still be a treasure in another way. It can inspire curiosity, teach you about minting history, and connect you to generations of collectors who felt the same excitement of discovery. So, what should you do if you have one? First, take a close look at it under good lighting. Check the AM in America on the reverse. See if the letters are closer or slightly apart. Examine the coin's condition carefully. The shinier and cleaner, the better. If it looks perfect, you can even send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC for evaluation. But most of all, keep an open mind. The 1998 D penny might not make you rich, but it's a reminder that every coin has a story. Every small detail, every tiny imperfection, carries meaning. Now, let's circle back to that big question. Could it really be $1 million coin? The truth is, probably not. But if that mythical 1998 D-wide AM ever surfaces, the collector who finds it could indeed make history, and perhaps, just maybe, a fortune. Until then, this coin stands as a perfect example of why people love collecting. It's not just metal and numbers. It's mystery. It's art. It's history you can hold in your hand. So next time you find a 1998 D penny, don't ignore it. Look closer. Appreciate its design. Think about the millions of hands it's passed through, the stories it could tell, and the possibility, however small, that you might be holding something truly special. Because in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in. Now let's move to our second coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers about a simple, brownish penny from 1996 that could secretly be worth a fortune. A coin so ordinary, yet wrapped in mystery, curiosity, and a touch of rumor. Some say this small piece of metal, a coin that most people don't even look at twice, might actually be hiding a rare secret that could make it worth thousands of dollars. It's the 1996 Lincoln cent, the one with no mint mark. You've probably seen it many times before, but have you ever really looked at it? Before you spend it, toss it in a jar, or let it disappear into change, stay with me till the end, because this coin story is far more fascinating than you might imagine. The mystery begins right under the date, or rather, the lack of something there. No little letter D, no S, just the plain year 1996. That's what we call a no mint mark penny. For many people, that's the first clue that something unusual might be going on. After all, we've all seen coins stamped with a mint mark, that tiny letter showing where it was made. So when collectors notice a missing mark, the excitement begins. Questions start flying. Was it an error? A secret batch? A rare misprint? Could this be one of those coins worth a fortune? To understand the truth, we have to go back in time, to the history of the U.S. Mint. The Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most iconic mints in America, traditionally did not place a mint mark on its pennies for most of the 20th century. So, if you see a 1996 penny with no mint mark, that's your clue that it came from Philadelphia. It wasn't a mistake, it was tradition. However, that small detail has caused endless confusion over the years. Many people still believe that no mint mark automatically means rare, and that misunderstanding has kept the 1996 penny in the spotlight for decades. But even though most 1996 no mint mark pennies are common, a few special ones truly do stand out. You see, the minting process isn't perfect. Occasionally, something goes wrong, a die doubles, a planchet shifts, or a strike lands off-center. Those moments create error coins, and that's where the real treasure lies. A 1996 penny with a clear double die, visible doubling on the date or lettering, can be worth hundreds of dollars. A coin struck slightly off-center or showing a die crack could also bring in big money, especially if it's in sharp condition. Collectors are always hunting for those small differences, the ones invisible to the casual eye but unmistakable to those who know what to look for. That's part of the magic of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, but some tell it with a twist, a rare variation, a production flaw, or a unique imperfection that turns an ordinary penny into something extraordinary. Now, let's talk about the design, because this penny isn't just metal. It's art, history, and legacy. On the front, you have the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday. That design has remained one of the longest-running portraits in U.S. coinage history. Think about it, over a century of the same proud profile, a design so timeless it's instantly recognizable around the world. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, added in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. Look closely. Inside the memorial, you can actually see a tiny sculpture of Lincoln sitting on his chair, perfectly detailed. Most people never notice it, but it's there, a tribute within a tribute. The 1996 penny represents an era of transition, too. By the mid-1990s, technology was advancing, but the penny still remained a symbol of American life, simple, durable, and familiar. Billions were minted, over 6.5 billion at Philadelphia alone, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. Yet, despite that massive number, some collectors still chase after pristine examples. Why? Because finding one in perfect, uncirculated condition is like finding a time capsule from 1996, untouched by human hands, still shining bright copper red, as if it just left the mint. In collector terms, coins like these are graded for their condition, from worn, circulated examples to top-tier mint state coins. A mint state 67 red, MS67 RD, 1996 penny with no mint mark can easily sell for $100 to $300, depending on demand. A flawless MS-68 or higher could fetch even more, simply because perfection is rare. Most pennies have been through countless transactions, pockets, and cash registers, but the few that survived unscathed are now small treasures. But then, of course, there are the stories, the ones that spread across the internet, claiming a 1996 penny could be worth $1 million. They appear in social media posts, videos, and news snippets, each promising that your next penny could make you rich. It's thrilling to imagine, isn't it? Finding a hidden fortune in your pocket change. But let's be honest, while those headlines grab attention, there's no confirmed record of a 1996 Lincoln cent selling for anywhere near that amount. The truth is more grounded, but still fascinating. You see, value in coin collecting isn't always about price tags. It's about discovery, curiosity, and connection. Each coin carries a piece of history, and every collector's story begins with that one coin that sparked their fascination. For many, that coin was the 1996 penny. It's simple, accessible, and yet mysterious enough to make you wonder, could mine be special? Imagine it for a moment, a penny that passed through hundreds of hands, maybe used in small purchases, maybe kept in a kid's collection for decades. What if your 1996 penny was one of those rare error coins? What if that small, overlooked coin sitting in your drawer was struck slightly off-center or showed doubling under the date? That's the thrill, the what if, that drives people to look closer. So, how can you tell if your 1996 penny is valuable? Start with the basics. Examine it under good light or a magnifying glass. Check Lincoln's face, the Liberty inscription, and the date for doubling or distortions. Look for cracks, lines, or bumps that don't belong. These can signal die errors. Pay attention to the rim, too. Off-center strikes are easy to miss but can be worth quite a bit if the design is visibly misaligned. Next, consider the color. Pennies are graded based on tone, brown, red-brown, and red. The brighter and redder the coin, the higher its potential value, especially in mint state. If your coin looks fresh and lustrous, handle it carefully. Oils from your skin can dull it. Use gloves, store it in a plastic holder, and maybe even get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC if it looks exceptional. And let's not forget, pennies minted in the 1990s are part of a changing era in U.S. coinage. By then, the copper content had been reduced. Since 1982, pennies were made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. That means they're lighter, more delicate, and more prone to corrosion. Finding one in great condition after nearly 3 decades is impressive, and increasingly rare. At the end of the day, the 1996 Lincoln cent with no mint mark may not make you a millionaire, but it's a piece of American history worth holding on to. It reminds us that even the smallest, simplest things can have stories deeper than we imagine. For some, it's just a coin. But for others, it's the spark that starts a lifelong passion for collecting, discovering, and appreciating the beauty hidden in everyday life. Let's move to our third coin in today's series. You might have heard whispers about an ordinary-looking penny from 1989 that could be hiding an extraordinary secret. A small, reddish coin that millions of people have held in their hands, yet only a few ever looked at twice. Some say this little 1989 Lincoln cent could be worth a fortune if you're lucky enough to find the right one. But is it true? Could a coin that's been around for decades and worth just 1 cent actually be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars? Stay with me till the end, because we're going to uncover the truth behind the mystery, the rumors, and the real value of this famous no-mint mark 1989 penny. Let's start with what makes this coin so interesting. The 1989 Lincoln cent with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the same place that produced billions of pennies over the years. Philadelphia coins traditionally don't have a mint mark, that's why under the date, you won't find a D or an S. Yet, for many collectors, that missing letter feels like a hidden clue, a sign that this coin might be special. Over the years, stories have circulated that some of these 1989 pennies might be rare minting errors, with mistakes so small they're easy to miss, but so valuable they could make headlines. And it's that possibility that keeps collectors checking their change even today. The design of the 1989 penny carries a deep sense of American legacy. On the front, you have Abraham Lincoln, beautifully engraved by Victor David Brenner, a design that's been on the U.S. penny since 1909. It's a symbol of honor, humility, and history. Lincoln's calm expression reminding us of leadership during one of America's toughest times. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, stands proudly, a symbol of unity and remembrance. If you look closely, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, perfectly carved, sitting at the very center. It's a detail that most people miss, but that collectors love, a piece of art hidden inside a piece of history. Now, here's where the story gets even more fascinating. In 1989, the U.S. Mint produced over 7.2 billion pennies in Philadelphia alone. That means this coin is far from rare in general circulation. But the beauty of coin collecting lies in the details, in the hunt for those few coins that stand apart from the billions. Among those ordinary coins, there are always a few that were struck differently, a few that carry small minting errors, and those are the ones that collectors chase. Error coins from 1989 include double die obverse examples, where the date or letters show faint doubling, and off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet wasn't perfectly aligned during minting. These kinds of errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. A clear and strong doubling error can fetch anywhere between $100 to $500, while an off-center error or a coin struck on the wrong planchet could be worth even more. One particularly clean example with visible doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust once sold for over $1,000, all because of that unique imperfection. But even without an error, a 1989 penny in perfect mint state condition can surprise you. While most circulated pennies are worth only their face value, a flawless, bright red MS-68 coin graded by PCGS or NGC has sold for over $400 at auction. Why? Because it's nearly impossible to find a penny that old in pristine condition. No scratches, no discoloration, no wear. Billions were made, but only a handful survived looking brand new. Now, let's talk about the rumors, the whispers that made this coin famous. Over the years, social media and online videos have claimed that the 1989 penny with no mint mark is worth millions of dollars. You might have even seen viral posts saying, "Check your 1989 penny, it could make you rich overnight." While that makes for an exciting headline, the truth is, no verified sale of any 1989 penny has ever reached anywhere near $1 million. Still, that rumor sparked a massive wave of curiosity. Suddenly, people across the world were digging through old jars, drawers, and coin boxes, hoping to find a fortune hiding in plain sight. And you know what? That's actually one of the best parts of the story. Those rumors, even if exaggerated, inspired thousands of people to start learning about coins, about history, and about how value can be hidden in everyday things. The 1989 penny became more than just a piece of change. It became a symbol of curiosity, of possibility, and of how something so small can carry so much meaning. To understand its real worth, you have to look deeper than numbers. The 1989 Lincoln cent is part of a long tradition, a bridge between the past and the present. By this time, pennies were made of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, a change that had started in 1982 due to rising metal prices. That shift in material made the coins lighter and more fragile, prone to corrosion and damage over time. So, finding one from 1989 still shining bright and red, with no scratches or dull spots, is becoming rarer every year. Collectors love coins that look untouched, coins that seem frozen in time. When you hold a mint-condition 1989 penny, it's like holding a piece of 1980s America, a time of payphones, classic cars, and handwritten letters. Every coin minted that year traveled its own path, through pockets, registers, and hands, collecting little marks of history along the way. And that's why each penny, no matter how common, carries a story of where it's been and what it's seen. Now, let's talk about what to look for if you think your 1989 penny might be valuable. First, check the color. If it still has that bright red-orange luster, it's a good sign. Then, check for errors, doubling, die cracks, or off-center designs. Examine Lincoln's eye, the date, and the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. These are the most common places where doubling can occur. You can use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera zoom for a closer look. If you notice anything unusual, lines, shadows, or slightly blurred edges, it might be worth getting the coin professionally evaluated. Next, look at the condition. If it has no scratches, no dull spots, and sharp edges, keep it safe. Store it in a coin holder or capsule to prevent it from oxidizing or tarnishing. Even if it's not a rare error, a coin in great condition will always be worth more to a collector than a worn one. And who knows, over time, as fewer clean examples survive, its value might just keep rising. So, Is the 1989 Lincoln cent with no mint mark a $1,000,000 coin? No, not quite. But is it special? Absolutely. It's a reminder of how history lives in the smallest of places, in a simple coin we often overlook. It's a piece of art, a piece of time, and a piece of countless stories that connect generations. Whether yours is worth 1 cent or $100, it's worth far more in meaning. So, before you spend that 1989 penny or let it vanish in a pile of loose change, take a closer look. Maybe it's not just another coin, maybe it's the start of a discovery. Because sometimes, the smallest treasures hide in plain sight, and all it takes is one curious glance to uncover them. Sometimes, the most extraordinary stories begin with the most ordinary things, a coin you've seen 1,000 times before, sitting quietly in your wallet or jar. But when you stop for a second and really look, you realize that every coin carries a secret history, and that's exactly what makes the 1998, 1996, and 1989 Lincoln cents so fascinating. Each one might seem small and simple, but behind that familiar copper glow are stories of mystery, value, and hidden beauty. For decades, collectors have searched tirelessly for that one perfect penny, the coin that defies expectations, the one that holds a rare minting error or a unique shine that separates it from billions of others. And while most of these pennies are worth just a cent, the possibility that yours could be worth more is what keeps the adventure alive. It's not just about luck, it's about curiosity, about looking closer at something the world overlooks every single day. The 1998 penny brought whispers of hidden fortune, a rumor that it might be worth $1,000,000 if struck just slightly differently. The 1996 penny, with no mint mark, became a puzzle for countless people who wondered if that missing letter meant they had something rare. And the 1989 penny reminded everyone that even the most common coin can become legendary when stories start spreading across generations. Each coin carries a piece of America's story, and maybe a piece of yours too. What makes these pennies special isn't just the value stamped on them, it's the fact that they've traveled through time. Think of it, a coin minted in 1989 could have been used to buy a newspaper 35 years ago, then handed from one person to another, passing through thousands of lives before ending up in your hand today. Each small scratch, each faint mark is a fingerprint of history. Collectors understand that. They know that finding value isn't just about metal or money, it's about meaning. It's about spotting those tiny differences, that hidden doubling, that perfect shine that most people never notice. It's about holding something old, fragile, and beautiful, and realizing that it connects you to the past in a way nothing else can. And yes, there will always be rumors, stories of $1,000,000 pennies and secret mint errors that change lives overnight. Some turn out to be myths, others reveal a small truth hidden within. But that's the beauty of it, the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of discovery, and the joy of uncovering something no one else has seen before. Whether it's a 1998 a 1996, or a 1989 penny, each has that power, the power to make you look twice. So the next time you hold a penny, don't rush to spend it. Study it. Feel the texture, the weight, the tiny details in Lincoln's face. Because one day, you might just find that your small discovery tells a much bigger story, one that blends history, art, and chance all in one moment. And even if you never find that $1,000,000 penny, you'll have found something even rarer, a new way of seeing value. You'll start noticing the beauty in the smallest things, the patience it takes to search, and the excitement that comes from learning something new every day. Every collector begins with one coin. Maybe yours is already in your pocket, a 1998 a 1996, or a 1989. Don't overlook it. It could be the start of your own collection, your own journey into the world of hidden treasures. Because every collection begins with curiosity, and curiosity is where the real value lies. So, before you spend your next penny, take a moment to look closer. That little coin might not just be change. It might be a story, a memory, and a tiny piece of American history waiting for someone like you to uncover its secret.